Hello everyone, this is Zaki Ahmed and I am a postgraduate student at MS Ramaiah Institute of Technology, and this is my presentation of my paper which is titled Anomalous Behavior Detection in Examination. So to begin with it, these are the topics we will be looking into: introduction, related work, details of existing model, design of new work, analysis and conclusion. Monitoring a classroom full of students during examination is a tedious task. With much improvement in the technology, there needs to be a system that can efficiently do the task of an invigilator during the examination. The system is expected to give an alert when some malpractice is detected by the system. Malpractice here in the form of students' abnormal behavior, uncommon movements during examination. The system gets the live video feed from the classroom camera and evaluates the student's behavior for malicious activities such as passing chits, making gestures at each other, looking here and there, shifting from their positions, copying, etc. Here we are not interested in the facial recognition of students. The system detects only malicious behavior done by a particular student or multiple students and gives an alert when malpractice is detected. Researchers have combined their work related to this topic. One can observe methodologies being implemented like biometric scans, emotion detection based on heartbeat, stress and anxiety analysis of students, detection of fraud using LBP local binary pattern methods, methodologies like fraud detection in hall tickets using pattern recognition, ADA boost methods and ANN classifiers for classification, etc. ADA boost is sensitive to outliers and noise in the data. Multimodal biometric system, which includes faces, iris and fingerprint detection, is also developed for fraud detection. In local binary pattern LBP, weights are assigned to different regions in the images, which improves the performance. This is usually concerned with the images where the contrast captured within the image varies based on different lighting conditions. The input for the system is the video feed from the surveillance camera. From this video feed, the frames or images are extracted. Basically, all videos are made up of frames. From these images or frames, initial images without students, which is background image, is constructed. Next are the usual frames with students. Now we can consider a pair of images, which are the current image and the other being the background image. The difference of these two images is computed, and if the difference is greater than the predefined threshold value, then we increment a counter. Based on how many times the counter was incremented, the decision will be made regarding anomalous activity being detected. The initial steps involve establishing a connection to the camera from which the video feed is generated, which serves as an input to the system. It involves the steps cv2.video capture, infinite loop read, cv2.imshow. First step specifies the camera from which the video feed is to be fetched. The infinite loop read is used to continue the video fetching from the specified camera, here mentioned as parameter 0. The next step is reading the frames which are in the so fetched video feed, and the last step is to mention the wait time to read the next frame from the feed. There are a large number of frames in a single video, and analyzing these frames is the initial and prominent task of the system. Hence, the pre-processing of these frames needs to be efficient and fast. So it is obvious to exclude the factors and attributes of the frames which are not required in analyzing the frames. The reasons to choose grayscale is that we don't really use the color attribute of the images or frames to analyze the image and detect anomalous activity. Also, to improve the code complexity, not having to deal with extra attributes of the frames will give less complex code. To effectively visualize, to improve the execution speed, and also to accommodate the size factor. Here is an example to show what difference is in the image after converting it to grayscale. This is the syntax for changing the color scale of the frames obtained from the video feed. Here, cv2.cvt color is a Python library to change the color scale of an image. src is the source of the frames, as in their location from where they have to be fetched. Code part is the syntax specifies the required color scale to which the image needs to be converted. This is the code snippet for achieving conversion to grayscale. Initially, we import the cv2 library, then set the path. After that, reading the image through the specified path. We can see cv2.color underscore bgr to gray. This bgr to gray is the specification of the grayscale. All the methods that were mentioned, they can be seen in the system architecture, which are image extraction from the specified camera video, then pre-processing these frames obtained from the video feed as removing the unnecessary attributes of the frames, and through converting to grayscale and feature extraction from subjecting to background subtraction, we train and test the system. As one can observe that features are extracted and are also subjected to the methods which are implemented, and hence data is obtained from this analysis process, which is subjected to testing and training of the system also. The performance of the system prominently depends upon the quality of the video feed given to the system as input. This requires the camera to be an efficient one which has the quality video capturing properties. Also, the system works only for static backgrounds, which is if the camera is in motion or the background is in motion, then there needs to be a totally different set of approaches to be followed to get the desired results. Performance of the system could be drastically improved if there can be multiple high quality video cameras installed. Then the system could be trained for different angles of students' sitting position and patterns, which could result in even more robust detection of malpractice in examination. If one is not limited in resources and can afford to install each camera for each individual student on their specific bench, then even the eye motion detection of the students could be achieved. This is just an initial step for us to get accustomed to this new normal lifestyle that we are facing in the pandemic, and hopefully come up with more solutions to efficiently achieve the work done in offline modes into online modes. Thank you.